Hello, everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 1 of the Young Guns podcast. My name is Tyler.
My name's Louis. Let's get right into it.
So, Lou, I haven't seen you in a while. What happened with you over the summer?
Yeah, it's been a little bit. I was able to work at a rink, so I was fortunate enough to keep the skates laced up, but I didn't play as much hockey as I wanted to. But overall, it's been a pretty good summer. It's been a quiet one. Now it's back to school, back on the grind, so a little bit busier, but I'm glad to get back into it. What about you?
Yeah, same here. I'm glad to get back into it, but like you said, summer hockey was not like the normal year, like maybe once a week at most.
Yeah.
But I still got a few rips out there and hopefully had my share. But yeah, I had a job in marketing-ish. That was fun, honestly. I had a lot of memories from that, good memories. Worked with good people as well. And then I think that it's time to get back on the grind, like you said, and school starts again. And the podcast starts again, so that's good news.
All right, everyone's happy about that.
Exactly. So let's start with our first segment today, the warm-ups. What's new in the world of hockey? Well, recently, about a few weeks ago, Kuznetsov was reported to have taken cocaine and failed a drug test. He got suspended for 3 games, but I still saw him play in the preseason, so the Capitals have not done anything else other than 3 games, at least for now, to my knowledge. And I wanted to know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting because the guy was going out there like, yeah, give me a drug test, I'll pass it. And then he gets given a drug test and he doesn't pass it. So that's a little bit of a confusing one. But
talk the talk, can't walk the walk. Eh?
Yeah, sadly for him. But I mean, you know what? I think it's a little bit weird that the NHL is not getting as involved, because you would think that there would be, not necessarily suspension-wise, but there would be some sort of like more active program to help this guy, because I don't think it's a secret that there's a lot of that going on in the league. But either way, he's a great hockey player, and he said he's committing to getting back to where he needs to be. So good for him. I support him in that. So
we also don't know if something's going on behind the scenes, but yeah, like you said, I'm hoping he gets the help he needs. But I'm just kind of surprised that the Caps actually didn't do anything else other than the 3-game suspension. Maybe they thought it was enough. Maybe they're waiting. I don't know. Yeah, for sure they have more information than we have. So
yeah, they're probably just trying to not be a leaky ship, just trying to do it behind closed doors, which is good as well, because when you're dealing with addiction, you don't want to make it sort of like a barn show. You don't want to publicize it so much. So that's a good approach for me.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense too. Moving on, we also have the Phil the Thrill trade. The case of him and Malkin drifting apart. Apparently he was too demanding or something about Coach Sullivan, and then he just got traded for Galchenyuk. What do you think about that trade, that situation?
Yeah, I mean, I think we all remember them just yelling at each other on the bench and knowing that it wasn't a good fit. I mean, they were great hockey players, obviously, but personality-wise, it just didn't mesh. Chucky's a guy, obviously, we're Habs fans, so we want him to succeed. I think he's pretty sick. And he can't play defense, but neither can Phil necessarily. So I think he'll have some success. And, hopefully Arizona is hoping that he's not going to drop off too much. And they got a smart hockey operations department there, so I think that they know what they're talking about. So overall, I think it's a smart trade both ways.
I think Kessel brings in experience. I think Galchenyuk's still got the scoring touch that Kessel had, but maybe with younger. Mm-hmm. Although he only has 1 year. But I got him on my fantasy draft, so I'm really hoping he does well.
For you, yeah.
Him with Malkin seems to be a good fit.
Yeah. I heard that he showed up for practice with 2 sticks, Galchenyuk, and then Evgenio was like, oh, I like your stick. Now he's got 1 stick.
Yeah, I heard that too. It was a funny story. For all those Leafs fan, moving on to the next topic, you probably expect this, but Austin Matthews, I don't even know where to start.
Just full mooning.
I think
captain material.
First off, that's totally bad press at a moment you don't want. And we saw him kind of excuse himself.
Yeah.
And we don't know about the actual procedures of it. I think he's got to pretty much go in court. But do you think this means that he has no chance of getting the captaincy? or even an assistant. Like, does it affect that, or are the Leafs just going to stand by him and just giving the C or the A still?
Well, I definitely think it affects it. I think he'll ultimately be the captain. Like, he's the face of the franchise no matter what. But I don't think they can do it right now because it's just such bad timing, you know? It's like, is that what you really want your franchise to represent? Especially at the Leafs, where they're like trying to get a new sort of culture in their room. So I don't know. I think that it's pretty or awfully convenient. I don't know if someone leaked it at the right time or something like that.
Yeah, it seems convenient for the press to have that information right, like, before season start.
Yeah. And something tells me that he's been dealing with that stuff already because, you know, he got asked some questions by the press and he seemed almost to have been through it already. So
yeah,
maybe it's been an ongoing thing and it just now leaked to the public.
I thought about when Patrick Kane was said to have raped a person, which was proven wrong after.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if, like, I was talking to a buddy and we said that this situation would be probably the closest in terms of a bad publicity with a player, like, in the first season.
And Kane's still Kane.
Yeah. He's still good. Like,
I mean, it's different
it was
situations,
wrong.
obviously.
Like, it was a wrong allegation, which in this case, like, Austin Matthews did that, and they have, like, video proof. So I don't know what the repercussions are going to be for him. I'm just hoping for the Leafs that he still has the right mental space to play and to have a great season, because, like, they need that if they want to make a push.
Yeah.
They need their center to score the goals. And that year, Kane, I think, has had his most points.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
The rape year, they called it, I think, at some point.
I remember the crowd, like, jeering him for that.
Yeah.
That was pretty tough.
Must have been tough, yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll get through. I think also there's so much excitement around the Leafs with their new decor, you know, their new look. And
Martin
so much
just signed.
Yeah, so I think that you know, if they have a good season and everything and they make the playoffs, like, eventually these are the kinds of things that people get over, and it's obviously not the first time an NHL player is goofed up like this. So
yeah. Thing is, like, everything like that, let's say it would have been in Montreal, those things are blown out of proportion because this is a hockey city, you know? So it just makes sense that it's got the attention it has now, but, like, you wouldn't see that probably in, like, smaller cities. I don't know what example, maybe, like, Flyers or a small team, you know? Like,
that's a double-edged sword, too, because, like, usually you don't have the recognition that you have, or that you deserve, but at the same time, when you mess up, then it's tenfold on you, so...
Yeah.
That's why some people don't want to play in Toronto and Montreal and those
which we will
cities.
Talk about soon.
A little precursor there.
Talking about big players and attention, let's talk about the recent contracts we've had. We have Point to talk about, Marner, Tkachuk, Shabbat, and also Falk. You can start with whatever you want.
I mean, I want to start with Point and get right into the meat and potatoes, because that's just such an unreal deal. And, you know, I get that or from my understanding, basically the money that he gets paid in dollars goes up towards the third season, which means that if he were to receive a qualifying offer, then it would need to be bigger, and then that's when he really gets paid. So obviously it's a bridge deal to when he's really going to cash in. But either way, I mean, it's a pretty incredible deal. And I thought it was going to be like, you know, when you look at the Marner contract and it's so front loaded, I thought there was gonna be like a lot of signing bonuses or something where he just gets the money straight away, but not even. Like, it's just a really team friendly contract.
I think for a guy that got 92 points, that's an amazing deal. Like you said, he is going to get paid in 3 years, but that's a 3-year problem. You got 3 years with this guy, Stamkos, Kucherov, all those guys that you can still push, and Vasilevsky also is still in his prime. So I think that's a great deal, like you said, team friendly. They can make a push. I think it fits them pretty well, and he's going to get rewarded at the end.
Yeah, I'm sure he's thinking that he wants to win with this kind of
Exactly. He's probably thinking, like, I'm going to try this for 3 years, and then I'm going to get paid and stay, or just leave.
I'm going to make my money either way because I'm Braden Point.
Exactly.
So I'm going to go for the cup.
Yeah.
I think that's good because, you know, all you need to do is get in, and Tampa crapped the bed last year, obviously, but maybe this year's different. Yeah, they really embarrassed themselves, but, you know, any year could be the year.
Exactly. Any team can win.
Yep. So I think moving on, we got Marner, which is obviously it was made out to be the biggest fish. In my opinion, the best player on the market was obviously Point, or on the free agent market anyway.
Yeah.
But Marner, all this attention with his agent drumming up everything with the media. So what do you think about the deal?
I don't know if you heard the argument about Sportsnet. I think they were talking about players getting paid for what they have in terms of potential, whereas before you had to get paid with what you have done.
You had to earn it, yeah.
And I think, yes, Marner had 94 points, but if you think about it, he played with Tavares. He played with amazing guys. I'm not saying, because your top guys are going to play with top guys, so they're going to get more points.
Unless you're line A.
Yeah. But, he went from 70 to 94, and I still think that 11 million should only be to guys like McDavid, Crosby. Those guys are just better. I feel like Marner, at least from what I see, he's got flashes really good, and then some games I think you don't see him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he needs to prove now that he is worth that money.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying it's a bad contract. I'm just saying for the Leafs, it looks bad because every other contract signed a bridge deal, and it's for way less. And even when, like you said, when they were talking about bridge deals for Marner, it was still around 9. And Point still got around 90 points, I think, which is what Marner got approximately. So what do you think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I get some flack when I say this, but everyone's so mad, or it even seems like they're still mad, or they definitely were mad a lot about the Nylander saga and how he sat out. He had his dad involved supposedly, and all that. And at the end, they came to an agreement on, I think, the day basically before the deadline was.
Yeah.
I don't think that Marner and Nylander are that far apart. I don't Marner's a great passer. Everything, he's really fast and he plays with heart too. But Nylander's a great transition player. I really don't see them especially in the first 2 years. Think about it, their progression was basically identical. If you pull up their points, I'm pretty sure they had in the 60 or somethings, and I was super comparable. So I think obviously it's a bad contract, but then there's the angle of you got to pay your best players, and he is one of their best players. So if it were to be between that and not signing Marner, then obviously I would also sign the deal.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I was checking the points, and they had 61 each. So like you said, it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
But the only thing I think Marner has more is the fact that he's from Toronto.
But
that's a big selling point as a player for the franchise.
Yeah, but wouldn't that kind of... Because think of how many Toronto kids would take a discount to play at home.
Obviously, that's why I'm wondering why he didn't. Or maybe he thinks he did. Who knows? McDavid, when he said, I took a discount in price too.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going on with that, but I'm still thinking this is not a discount.
But
Dubas is probably not thinking it's a discount, obviously.
That's it's like when you see an item at the store that's way too expensive, and then it's marked down, and it's still less than you would pay for it usually. It's it's still not a good deal. It might be a discount. It might be 15% off, but that doesn't mean that I'm getting a good deal on this. So I think he's a talented player, and good for him for getting paid. Interestingly enough, he's also his agent's same agent as Taylor Hall, so I think Taylor Hall is probably going to look to get paid. I don't know. That situation is obviously going to be different because he's an unrestricted free agent, not a restricted one, but it'll be interested to see how much money he goes for at the end of the year, and whether he gets to stay with the Devils or go with another team.
I mean, Marner taking that much money is not going to help Dubas for concreting the team for the next few years, but at least they have this year.
Yeah.
For sure. Next up is Matthew Tkachuk. Honestly, this is a guy I like a lot. I like his style of play. I like his brother too. But I think it's a pretty team-friendly deal. It's more than Braden Point, which
raises some eyebrows.
Yeah. He's also, I think, the most paid Flame.
Yeah, he is.
And I'm like, is he better than Gaudreau?
Yeah, that's a steal, though.
Is he better than Monahan?
No. Well, debatable. I would say no. but
I would say no too.
It's very debatable.
But like this guy is still progressing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, he brings, assets to the table that not many other players bring. Like he's not only is he skilled, but he's a sandpaper guy. But we'll have to see in 3 years. Obviously, he's gonna get even more paid, just like Point. But that's a 3 years from now problem, as you said. But I think it's a good deal, like you said too. And overall, I think that he brings something to the team that not many others can bring. So
And that's most likely why he's getting paid too. So
yeah,
good for him.
this is the self-esteem patrol. Good for you, buddy. We're proud of you.
Kachuk's gonna listen to this podcast and be like, I can play now.
Yeah, he's gonna text us. Big fans.
Next contract is Thomas Chabot. First of all, I hate talking about the Sens, other than saying then they lose.
This guy's traumatized from his childhood.
I do not like the Sens, and if you're listening, you know who you are. You should switch teams. Come to the Habs. And, well, first of all, the deal was $8 million for 8 years. I think, first of all, I got respect for the guy. He's great. I have not seen much of his defense. I've seen much of his offense, but not much of the defense side. But I really think he's really important for them. And like you said, it's important to pay the biggest guys on your team. I don't know if you can look up how many points he got, but I'm pretty sure it's around 70.
I think it's a little bit under that. Yeah, 55.
55,
well, still really good.
I thought it was around 70. Oh, man.
No, but I mean,
55.
Think about the offense of the Sens. Like,
yeah.
It should have been 70.
It's almost 70 on a good team, you know?
Like, no one's scoring
Yeah.
on that team. So
yeah, I think overall it's a great deal for them. They're locking up their number one D-man for the next 8 years.
Yeah.
They lost Carlson. They're replacing him with Chabot. And I think they've got a good team from now on to go forward with.
Yeah, I think they're building from the defense out. Because when you look at, like, Brandstrom and guys like that, they're still pretty thin on all fronts, but he's kind of a core guy. And yeah, at the end of the day, like, they had to sign him. Like, if Chabot isn't on the team, like, who's skating the puck up? Like, who's making the breakout pass? No one. So
let me tell you something. Craig Anderson.
Yeah.
This guy's never going to leave the fucking Sens, eh?
Yeah, he's like, the Sens are basically a glorified retirement home for him.
Yeah. And finally, for the last contract of today, we're going to talk about Justin Falk, who got traded. So it was Justin Falk and a 5th round pick in 2020 for Joel Edmondson and Bach, and a 7th for 2021. He signed for 7 years, $6.5 million, and he now has $4.8 million for 5 years. What do you think about that deal? What do you think about that trade?
I think it's kind of a weird one from both perspectives. Well, it's not weird, but I think that, for one thing, if someone was to trade for a defenseman right now, it'd be the Jets, and we'll get into that later too. But I mean, part of me wonders if, like, the Blues, they're rivals in a division, or not necessarily rivals, but they played each other in first round. Jets got out, and they don't want them to. They want to obviously have a leg up on them, so maybe that's kind of one thing that influenced the deal. They want to take another defenseman off the market.
Yeah, that might be true.
But I think Falk's a good defenseman, and it's a smart deal on their part. Also, like, when you look at Carolina's D before, and the fact that they signed Gardner, it's like there's only so many spots, and there's only one puck. Like, they got some pretty good, like, puck moving guys, so it made sense to clear one out. But yeah, I mean, it's just really unexpected to me.
Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't really expected at all. I was not, like, looking at him particularly in terms of, like, a trade case or, like, rumors about that. But from a guy that has only 35 points last year, I think that 6.5 is a bit high.
Yeah.
I mean, Petry's less.
But Petry's a killer deal too.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what you pay nowadays for those kinds of defensemen. But, like, yeah, if it were me, I would have probably tried to get that down a little bit, especially because of the term. But
Yeah,
it's not a ridiculous contract either. Like that's not. I don't think that's what's gonna
cost
break
them.
the camel's back or
Yeah.
whatever.
True. He's only 27 too, so it's not too bad.
Yeah.
But that was it for the warm-ups talk today, guys. We'll be right back with the Habs talk.
All right, guys. Now that we're done with that segment, I say we get into our next one here, Habs talk. Obviously, we're Habs fans, and I'm gonna start it off because obviously I am the resident goalie here, so obviously all the goalie stuff surrounding Montreal interests me. So I just wanted to get into this first topic here, which is the crease is getting pretty crowded in Montreal here. We had Primo getting sent down to Laval with McNiven, so it's pretty safe to say that they're gonna be the two guys there. And then we got Kincaid getting a preseason shutout, 3-0 shutout. So he's looking pretty good too. Price has got a bruised hand, which is a little bit concerning, but Carey Price is Carey Price, and he's listed as day-to-day. Like he could come back any day, so I think that's fine. But then that kind of leaves the odd man out, which is Charlie Lindgren. And we signed him as a top college guy a couple years ago. He had a good first year. I remember it wasn't Laval even. It was St. John's at the time.
Yeah.
And, now he's kind of the odd man out. I don't think that he's played well enough in this preseason to warrant, really pushing for an NHL job. Like he's looked pretty scrambly at times, laying down on his back, like not necessarily being the most calm goaltender. That's one thing when you watch Carey Price, he's so calm. So, yeah, I think maybe we would be able to trade him, but I don't know if he has any value even. Like I remember a year or so ago, there was some interest because when he did get called up to NHL, he looked good. But
yeah,
now
I don't know what to think about the fact that could he take the spot of Primo or McNiven in the back end and the AHL, or
I think it's a bad idea because McNiven showed some pretty good improvement last year, and we have to remember that I think he was OHL goalie of the year actually in his last year of junior, and he had a really good season with the Owen Sound Attack. So he's a goaltender with some talent. And then Primo, obviously, in my eyes, Primo is the heir of Carey Price. He's basically like the young stud coming in.
Yeah.
So I obviously want him to take a lot of games, and he looks sick in the preseason as well.
Yeah, he did.
I don't, and like splitting three guys is like not a good plan for their development. They're not gonna have enough minutes. It's like burying a defenseman on like the sixth spot or like bottom pair or whatever, and expecting him to develop with like
basically Houdon.
Yeah, literally.
Like we can't. I don't think from the crowded crease thing we can't keep Lindgren, in my opinion.
Yeah,
like
he's his time is kind of run out on him, I think.
I'd like let's say Price gets injured or Kincaid gets injured, and then you need another guy. I'd rather see McNiven and Primo get some NHL minutes than Charlie Lindgren, who's not even going up, if you know what I mean.
At this point, his upside is basically an AHL starter, I think. Like, I don't know if he'll ever really establish himself in the show, so,
Well, hopefully for him. But
I mean, if he does, it'd be a nice surprise. But
yeah, obviously. But from there, we can probably talk about the Drouin trade rumors.
Yeah.
My thoughts about this is basically, so Drouin, does he have any value to trade? Because for me, I don't think he has high value. So I'm wondering, is it worth it to trade him and get maybe less than he would or we could get from him, if you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then like it's basically going to be a waste of trade because he's at its lowest point and you're going to try and trade him. You should just wait and try and put him with a few good guys and then get his confidence up, points up, and then you're at the door.
Yeah, maybe, but also you have to think about the fact that he was drafted high, and that always holds some value. Like, whenever you see a guy, and I'm not saying like it should, but I'm saying it does, because every GM, or not every GM, but like GMs are often going to be like, oh, no, you mishandle that guy, but he's got the talent. Now watch me. I'm going to turn him into a 70-point or 80-point guy.
Yeah.
So I think some some GM will definitely would want to take a chance on a guy like that. And also, there's value in it, not necessarily in what we get back in the trade, but also what our younger guys get, because we see in the preseason Suzuki's pushing, and you got Paling with a concussion, but once that clears up, like
Yeah,
I
he's
think
pretty
he's
good.
obviously going to make the team. So there's only so many spots. I remember people were angry about trading Andrew Shaw because it's like, where are those 50 points going to come?
Yeah.
But also you want your young guys coming in and developing too, so maybe you could turn that potential 50 points this season into like maybe 60 or something next season.
Yeah, and Drouin did get 53 points last season, so it's not too bad. But I just want him to. He said at the golf tournament that he's like, he trained hard and stuff like that. He's trying to like get more consistent, blah blah blah. But now I think it's time to execute that, and I just want him to do that because he is good. He's got talent. I just want him to maybe put him in more effort and heart into it so that we can keep him and actually have a chance of winning, while also pushing for the rookies and like maybe a third line with like Suzuki and Paling when he comes back from the concussion. Like
I
you said.
agree. I think this is a real make or break year for him, because
at least as a Hab.
Yeah, because this first season he came in, he had to play center, and that wasn't his natural position, so that was kind of a train wreck on all fronts. And then he went into the summer and he only worked on center stuff. Well, not only, obviously, he worked on general training too, but he was focusing on trying to become a center. And then he came into camp and he was put on the wing when Domi was at center. So that kind of messes up your plans, I think. So now he's had an entire year, or it's the entire summer anyway, of knowing where you're going to play, like knowing what position you're going to play, knowing what's expected of you. And, you got to show it. You got to show that you've got what it takes. He's got some, I just think he's got some bad habits, He's like,
yeah, I think he's got to get rid of those. Hopefully the rookies pushing up is going to put a bit of pressure on him to get better. Like you said, Suzuki's really pushing for that right wing. Hopefully he makes it. I saw the shootout goal, and that was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, I really like his presence. He reminds me a bit of Marner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that those guys are pretty similar, so I'm really hoping that he can come in this season and at least get some ice time, not like Hudon and get placed on the fourth line.
Yeah, he's like a more, because he's not as zippy as Marner, but honestly, I don't think everyone's ripping on his skating like, oh, he's so slow.
Yeah, no.
I don't think he's that slow.
I don't think he is either. It's
Like,
even Marner is not that fast.
Well, he's pretty fast, but he's not like breakneck like McDavid fast. Yeah, I was watching him and like, he's got NHL speed. He's not a speedster, but he makes up for that fact in other areas. So I think it's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm just pumped. Honestly, I'm really excited because we got a lot of good rookies, and then we got Caulfield for next year.
Thank you, Vegas. Yeah. Appreciate it, Vegas.
Thank you.
Thanks for doing business. Thank you for coming.
I think that this year, I'm really hoping Montreal makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be competitive with Florida making a push and all those teams, but like, please, Habs, just give the extra effort, make us into the playoffs, and then anything can happen.
Yeah. I mean, you see what happened with like the last two Stanley Cups is Vegas and St. Louis. Like St. Louis was the last in January, and Vegas was an expansion team making it to the final.
Yeah.
They didn't win at all, but it's like, just get in. That's all you need to do. Just get in. And I mean, it's there's pressure not only with like price, but we can go back to the fact that we were talking about like Braden Point taking a discount because Tampa has been, maybe not last year, but historically they've been pretty good in the playoffs, and they've been a great team in the regular season. So at some point, like, success kind of comes around in a good way. It's like a virtuous circle where guys want to play.
Success breeds success, basically.
Yeah, and Montreal needs to show, I think, that that they're gonna be a winning franchise and make guys want to come here.
Exactly, which hopefully helps that. And even for the Leafs, they still need to do something about that first round curse, kind of.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping for the Habs here to make the playoffs. I'm hoping Domi still hits the 70-point mark.
Yeah, I think
Drouin maybe 60. Kotkaniemi maybe 45.
I'm
close to
looking for
50.
50. I'm looking for 50 from Kotkaniemi.
Dano is still with like the 40-ish, 50, close to 60
Yeah,
maybe.
I think Dano, what he can really improve on is goals. Like he hasn't, like if he could crack 20, that'd be great.
Yeah. Gallagher still has to crack 30. Lehkonen hopefully crack 20, 25.
Yeah.
Improve your shot percentage.
Yeah.
Tatar still with like 60 points. All those guys need to like basically at least stay at par from last season and then improve. And then on D, we got Weber, who at least needs to show up more games. And then I think Price as well has just got to keep it up. Last year he had a good season. Kincaid's probably a better backup than Niemi, so I'm really hoping for the Habs to make a push for the playoffs.
Yeah. They've addressed a lot of things, and then they've also not addressed one thing, which is the power play, in my opinion. But like the backup goaltending position at least is better, so that's some cause for optimism.
We've got good rookies too coming in.
Yeah,
which could help on the offense. And then we signed Sherratt, which is basically another version of Ben, a bit better, maybe.
Yeah, he's a better Ben, pretty much.
So hopefully our D-core is a bit better. Alsner, I'm not expecting him to make the team at all. Ouellet, probably not either.
Yeah, he's like a replacement guy, whatever.
Yeah. So I'm really thinking that the Habs at least stayed at par. Like you said, improved a few key positions. And no big improvements, but like at least a few minor tweaks.
Yeah.
But I think this year is really going to be a lot of pressure for Bergevin to stay on track. And like maybe, I don't know if he could get fired, Julien as well. Because we need to, win.
Yeah.
Like Price, he put a bit of pressure on the Habs. Like we got to win. Like the fans want to win, the players want to win. This is a franchise that had 20 plus cups. Like you want to win another one.
Yeah, you're just like you're living in that history, and you want to be a part of it. You want to have your name on the cup. I think like one thing we were talking about, like players breaking even with what they did last year and everything, like, keeping up the production that they had. What do you think about Sherratt, and will he get as many points as he got last season? Like, I was looking at who he played, and he played with Buff most of the year, and he was good, but like, part of me is kind of like a little bit worried, like, was he being carried by Buff, and he like still, I think he got like 20 points or something like that. Like he's on the upswing.
20 points. I don't think that he's gonna. I think he should be around 15, 20. Because he didn't get that many power play minutes because it was Buff, Laine, Scheifele, Wheeler, and all those guys.
Yeah, their power play stuff.
So power play is not going to be, even on Montreal, he's not going to play power play minutes. No. So I just think that 20 points is probably going to stay the same, honestly. If he's on like the top two pairs, I think it's going to be the same.
Yeah. I think honestly he could be effective as a third pair guy too.
Yeah.
But that's just like a little bit expensive.
He just needs to hit.
Yeah, just play physical, hit guys, keep guys away from the net, and chip in a couple of points. Like, that's all we really need.
Get the job done.
Yeah.
So I think that was it for this segment, the Habs Talk. Really enjoyed this one. Hopefully you guys did too. And we'll see you in the next segment.
All right, so let's get into our next segment here. It's called Around the League. So we're just going to talk about all the recent happenings, and I think we can start with Taylor Hall and the Devils, which we've mentioned before. Taylor Hall probably looking to get paid next season. Not that far removed from a MVP award, and the Devils have really shored up and done a lot to convince him that they're dedicated to winning here. They got Subban. I think Schneider has looked better than he's been in the preseason, although you wonder how much preseason means. But overall, the Devils look like a pretty complete team. Obviously, they got the first overall pick, so that's going to help them a huge bit, on top of Nico Hischier, who was also first overall pick.
Who also added Simmons with a bit of sandpaper.
Yeah, although personally, I don't think that guy's good. Well, he's okay, but he's not that anymore.
Yeah.
But he's, like you said, physical element never hurts. Jets are a physical team, or not Jets, Blues are a physical team, and they won the Cup. So
yeah, I think they're really going to be dominant with the speed. Like, I think we saw Hughes have like a few breakaways, Hall like a few 3-on-1, so I think that's going to be a redundant thing for them. Hall, like you said, was an MVP. I think they're really looking at locking him up most likely in the nearest 10 million for
Mhm.
like 8 years, hopefully, maybe, I don't know. But like you said, he's going to be a great part of this team, and hopefully they can use the moves that they did to have a good season, and hopefully sign him nearer, or at least at the end of the season, and not lose him as in UFA.
Yeah. Devils management just like sipping on Edmonton Oilers fans' like tears.
Basically. Holy.
Poor guys. But otherwise, we got some other teams that are looking to be big this year, have big years, and push for some playoff success. So we got Florida, obviously. They were in the rumors for Panarin, and they didn't end up getting him, but I think they probably addressed their most important position, which is at goal. They got Bobrovsky, who I think is an absolutely great goaltender.
Beast.
He's kind of streaky, but when he's on, he's really on. We saw that. Well, Tampa Bay found out that last year. And, I think it's a great addition, and I hate it because they're in our conference, or in our division, actually.
Barkov's not going down. They got Dadonov, Huberdeau, all those good guys. It's like, how did they not make the playoffs? Like, this year they're going to make them. I think that's just a proven fact.
Yeah.
This is going to be like, because like you said, they have so many good guys. And now we've got the Devils competing for the wild card as well, probably.
Yeah.
We've got the Florida Panthers also competing.
The Rangers
We've got the
might
Leafs,
be in there.
Bruins, Rangers might be as well, like you said.
Columbus is not even that bad, honestly, I don't think.
It's not looking good, man. It's looking good in terms of like competition, but that's not good for us.
No, yeah.
We just got to have Price at the top of his game all season, no injuries.
Yeah, I think to myself, I look at our roster, I'm like, damn, we got some great young guys. And then I look at other teams, I'm like, damn, they've got some great young guys as well. And it's like, also last season we were pretty lucky with, Weber was out.
Price was out for a bit.
Half the year, yeah. So we weren't like, it wasn't like that much of a stroke of luck, but like we were pretty fortunate with injuries. Like, obviously injuries can always make or break anyone's season, but we really got to be careful of that.
But to be fair, like the Bruins had, I think, Pasternak and Bergeron play like under 70 games, and they still made the playoffs with like a lot of points. So I'm like, if they can make it, we have to make it.
Yeah, at some point you got to stop with the excuses and just do it.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's for you, Drew.
Shout out, Drew.
Shout out, Drew. Next up is the Jets. Honestly, I do not know what the hell is happening there. They've got Big Buff, who might retire. They have Liney, who's shitting on his teammates. He's looking to sign. Kyle Connor's looking to sign. Man, honestly, what is going to happen? They lost, or not lost, but they're most likely going to lose a lot of pieces. So are they going to go on a downfall like really quickly, or is it just going to work out?
Also, an underrated, I think, storyline in this thing is like Hellebuck doesn't look good. Like I was watching him in the preseason, he doesn't look like the 40-win guy that. Was
he ever good?
I mean, he got 40 wins. Yeah, I would take 40 wins in the NHL, but yeah, he's not really. But then again, like who's playing in front of him? Like I know they're still like really talented up front and everything like that, but I don't know.
They were
like,
packed, so they're still looking good.
Yeah, but like part of me thinks like, are they? Let's say Buff doesn't play this year, which I think is a stretch. Like I think he'll come back, but also when he comes back, is he going to be that good? Is he going to be his regular self? Because we saw Nylander, like he came back in the middle of the year, it didn't go well for him.
Yeah, but it's two different styles of play. Like Big Buff is like just a tank. Like he's just a tank. Like he will wreck half your team with one hand.
But then again, the thing is though, like he's a tank, but he does other things too. Like he's a pretty multi-dimensional player. Like he doesn't only hit. Like he mangles people, but he's also, he's pretty good offensively, obviously.
I don't know if you remember the hit on Mark Stone, but I think he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that hit was unreal. Like that's what he does on a nightly basis. Like that's crazy. This guy is 6'5", 34. Like he might call it quits, which is surprising to me because I did not expect that. But I'm really hoping for him and the Jets that he comes back. Last year he only played 42 games, but he still scored 31 points. So he's really important for that team, even though he didn't play that much.
Yeah. No, he's a core piece for sure. Can you look up the Jets defensive pairings and see who they've got back? Because, I mean, I'm not like an expert. I think they got like one guy what's his name, like Niku or something, like Sami Niku or something like that. They're pretty high on him. But it's like you don't necessarily want these guys to be playing on the top pair or whatever.
Nathan Beaulieu.
They
have Kulikov, Morrissey, Pionk. Those are the names that I know of. On goalie, they had Brossois and Hellebuck, so that's
Brossois good. I've always been a fan of Brossois.
Bad. But
that is okay.
I'll big rip.
I like the Rangers on the down low. I was watching Pionk. Like, he's got some flashes.
He scored that one goal against the Habs, which I'm mad about.
Yeah, the end to end, but he's got some flashes. Like, he is not all that. He's not. Some people really overrate him. Who is it? Like Morrissey?
Yeah.
It's basically Morrissey and his band of merry men. It's like...
Yeah. Kulikov used to be decent, but...
Yeah, but
he fell off a cliff.
Not nearly top guy. Yeah, I mean... I'm sure they would have liked to keep Sherrod now that they know what's going on.
I think that this offseason...
I don't think that's a good enough defense to make the playoffs.
No, it's not. I don't think so either. Especially with a goalie that's usually on a
he kind of reminds me of Martin Jones.
Yeah. I agree with that. But I think that this offseason is really we say this pretty much about every offseason, but I think it's really unconventional and different from other offseasons because we're even hearing rumors about the Pittsburgh with a bunch of trades with the goalies. Maybe Kessel got traded. We have the Matthews thing, cocaine for Kuznetsov. We have a bunch of trades, bunch of signings. It's a packed summer, which is fun to talk about, which is fun for hockey fans. But it just means that there's more questions of okay, where's Kyle Connor going to sign? Who's going to sign when? Are they going to play this year? Rantanen, I got this guy in my fantasy draft.
He's got to play.
Sign now, dude. You're a good player. Just sign. They need you. I need you.
More importantly, I need you.
We need answers, dude. So
it's only questions and no answers.
Yeah, for now. We've got a few answers every week, but the season's approaching. And we've got a lot of guys who have not signed. And like we saw with the Nylander case, like you mentioned, guys need to show up before the December deadline.
Well, before the start of the year.
The sooner the better. But
the way you said that, you got Kuzi's cocaine, or it makes you think of OVOs, where Ovechkin's got a cereal brand, and now Kuznetsov's got his Kuzi's cocaine.
Just imagine. Oh. I think that was pretty much it for the Around the League segment over here.
Yep.
So thank you again for listening for this segment and every segment up
till this point.
And we'll see you in a bit for the next segment. Up for the last segment of this podcast, overtime. So basically, this is just a question we have in our minds. We were finishing with the Rantanen talk, and we're basically wondering, to you and to us, I'm going to ask Lou, what contract do you think is going to be signed next?
In my opinion, I think it's going to be Kyle Connor, because first of all, that guy's flow is unreal, and I can appreciate that.
Appreciate the sauce.
Yeah.
Lettuce.
Funny guy over here. No, okay, so then but the thing is, Kyle Connor for me, Laine, he's a one-dimensional player. We know that. He's a pure goal scorer, and not necessarily a knock, because he's one of the best at it. But Kyle Connor, it's you know what you're getting. And I think he's more of a surefire, Laine, it's is he gonna score barely any goals for half the year again, or is he gonna go on a tear the whole year?
Yeah.
But Connor, it's more of a sure value. So in my opinion, you sign Connor to a long-term deal, and then you lock up Laine for a bridge contract,
and then hopefully Bufflin comes in too.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, it just seems like a more of a sure bet to get Connor done and then worry exclusively about the line A stuff and get line A done.
Yeah. For me, I think it's going to be Hall. He's not an RFA, but I think he's going to be signing real soon because I heard at least a few rumors that he was really close, seeing that the Devils are really playing well. Hughes is demonstrating like enormous talent. Although I would hope that Rantanen would sign. I think that him and Sakic are going to be like two heads going against each other, and they're not going to want to give an inch. So I think that's why I went with Hall, because he's seeing really good improvement. He's going to be like, all right, I might sign a 3-year deal. I don't know how long, but I'm thinking it's him because he's seeing the potential. He's like, all right, I'm going to try this out. Or he might just wait the year.
Yeah, you never
Who
know.
knows?
But I mean, there's a lot of positivity around that franchise. I think for the Rantanen thing, like, it's pretty interesting because they've got a lot of cap space. So it's like, what are you doing to wait to sign him? But I think that's probably what the contention is. Like, Rantanen's looking at all this cap space and it's like,
do I want to take it all or hope for better players too? Because you got Girard and Makar.
They're gonna
at some point.
They're gonna have to get paid. But in my opinion, what he's probably doing is looking
Soderbergh
at the
is too much too.
Who?
I just thought about that. Soderbergh.
Yeah,
he signed for way too much, but yeah, go
on. Either way, they're looking pretty good cap wise. But like, he's probably looking at it and he's like, I'm a core player on this team. I'm gonna take as much of this cap chunk as I possibly can and like set my my children's children up for success here.
Yeah. Children's children. Almost.
Children's?
Yeah, almost. But yeah, so that was our thoughts about which contract is going to be signed next. What contract do you guys think is going to be signed next? So leave a comment below, comment and subscribe. Don't forget to like the video to show your support. We really appreciate everything. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram to see when the next episode or any news that we share. So just all of that so that you never miss an episode and just to show your support for us. So thank you for listening up to this point.
Guys, you might miss an episode. Come on.
Exactly. You can't do that. So really, thank you for listening. My name is Tyler.
My name is Louis.
And see you in the next pod.
All right, guys, before you go, let me just catch you here. Thank you so much for listening up until this point. You guys are absolute beauties if you
True
made it
beauties.
until the end of this one. Yeah, absolute beauts, bud. And then before you go, we got a few logistics to go over, so I'm going to go ahead and let Tyler talk about that.
So basically, we're just trying to lock in a schedule, hopefully every 2 weeks for now, since it's midterm season for us. But we're really hoping after that to potentially have every week, maybe some different types of releases in terms of bite-sized content, but that's basically why we want you guys to follow us on IG and keep listening to the episodes so that we can share the information we have at the time we have it with you guys. We love the support. If we have any other news about formatting, stuff like that about the pod, or if you guys have comments, stuff like that, recommendations, just show the love on IG, Instagram, or YouTube. So basically, thank you again for listening till this point. You guys are true studs. Just keep rocking it, man. Thank you.
Killing it, guys. Absolutely killing it.
See ya.